Hello, so good evening everybody. Time for a Sunday stream. So no real theme for this one. We can talk about whatever as long as it's to do with gas masks, Geiger counters, helmets, you know, all that sort of stuff. But please don't do the random spamming of questions unrelated to the stream because that gets very irritating. Also, that's not glowing blue, by the way, there. It's just the valve seems to be reflecting light coming off, I think, the PC or the webcam's light. So it looks kind of like there's a glowing blue valve on the bottom of that Canadian C4, but there's not. So hello everybody, hope you're doing well. I might put the batteries back in the Plessy for a bit and have a play about with that. I still need to work out how to get this off without damaging it. But yeah, I definitely need to take it off because it is an absolute pain in the arse having this sort of card on it all the time. So battery access thing to that, and then it should, there we go. So have the irritating noise as it turns on with its little backlight at least, so you can, and it'll start chirping away. So evening everybody. Yeah, I hope you all like the night vision video that was earlier. This has a funny smell to it as well, this case on the Plessy. Not an unpleasant smell, just, you know, one of those weird smells. But yeah, I definitely need to figure out how to get the little card off of it, because that is a pain in the ass. You know, having just a long trailing sort of thing. And I know in theory that you can also attach this to the other side and have it like a double strap, but I really don't want that. I just want it off. But yeah, so I hope everybody's all right. I've not done much today other than film a video. Hopefully I'll be back to work soon by the sound of it, because my boss did phone me the other day and they do want me back at work soon. So that's good. You know, it seems like I'm not being made redundant just yet. So yeah, I've got a Mark 6 and a Mark 6A, but they're not in this room as far as I'm aware, unless they're in one of the boxes, so I can't get them out to show them. But as I said before, regular Mark 6 helmet is crap. Other than being a hard hat, Mark 6A is actually quite good. But yeah, so as you can see, that's not really giving any reading at the moment, as you'd expect, because it's background radiation in here. But I'll do a video where I test it with various check sources at some point. I don't think moustaches are linked to certain nationalities, but okay. Like, let's flick that off so it doesn't tick loudly and annoyingly. It's a shame there's not a little bit for the sounder module on as well, but I suppose it makes sense it's on the strap, because by being on the strap, the sounder module, you can always hear it, can't you? Irritatingly loud. But yeah, I wonder what this little claw bit's for there. I assume it's attaching it onto something. Yeah, anyway, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, it's a very good bit of night vision, isn't it? Sadly, I've not been able to see the comet with it so far. I've taken it out nearly every night that it's meant to have not been cloudy, and the comet's not been visible on any of them. But oh well, you can't win them all. Let me look up M90 camo. Is that the Swedish one? Let's see, M90 camo. Oh, it is a Swedish one. Or is that the, because there's a couple. There's one coming up that's, I think the Swedish M90 one. I think there's also a Danish M90, which is a different pattern as well. But both are quite good. That'll be good if they finally release them, Dan, but I don't know if they actually will or not. Right, bots? I'm glad you like gas mask, Antonio. The Swedish one, in practicality, I think DPM looks better, but the Swedish one looks cooler. So it depends what you want, you know. Jade Wars, because the first version of the Mark 6 had a ballistic nylon filler and they really cheaped out on the amount they put in. So it basically doesn't protect you from anything. You might as well be wearing a plastic hard hat. That's basically how good a helmet the Mark 6 is. That's why the Mark 6A and the Mark 7 had Kevlar filler, because, you know, that's what they should have done from the get-go, but they didn't because they cheaped out by using ballistic nylon filler. So you can find videos online where Mark 6 helmets literally perform worse than World War II steel helmets, you know, because that's how cheaply they were made. Yeah, so there's no particular theme for this stream. You know, we can talk about Geiger's, gas masks, whatever, but as long as it doesn't turn into what's your favorite gas mask 24/7, you know, like a lot of the streams do, where it just gets irritating to do them. Glad you liked it, White Wolf. It is an amazing unit, isn't it? So it's really good that Hype spotted it. But I've got some more info on it. The video that comes out on Wednesday has the actual technical specs for the thing. But I'll read them out now for anybody that is interested. Because when I filmed that video, I didn't have the technical specs for it at that point. So I want What folder did I put it in? I think I probably put it in my pictures folder. Yeah, IM 101. Right, if I get the ebook out for it, I can give you a thing on the thing. So it right, here's the specifications. So weight 1 kilo, operating and storage temperature range -20C to +52C, power source 2 AAA alkaline batteries, battery life 28 hours continuous operation, power consumption 25 milliamps at 2 to 3.4 VDC, objective lens 75 f1.7 focus 4 meters, eyepiece ×10 with adjustable focus, field of view 13.5 degrees, intense fire amplification typically 45,000 times, and that's the light amplification, so light is times 45,000 sort of light you can see. Light level 10-10 to the power of 4 lux. I think that works out about 2 lux from what other people are saying, 2.0 lux. Image intensifier tube, Mullard XX 1500 18mm microchannel plate with P20 phosphor, 36 LP millimeter limiting resolution. Overall magnification free, so it's a 10 times scope, overall free magnification. I don't quite get that bit, but whatever. Brightness controls manual and automatic, although it's basically auto-vaulting the brightness to lower bright lights and enhance, dark bits on the screen with the automatic bit. The manual bit is basically just like turning the brightness up and down on your screen. But yeah, so and the housing is precision machined and salt spray proof plastic body. But yeah, it's a really nice little scope. But yeah, it was nice that the seller sent me all the documents on it. No, I replied to you, Alan, but none at the moment because they've cut all the fields down now for whatever they were growing in them, so the rabbits aren't in there because they're not eating the crop that was in the field. I said in the video a bit about 400 pounds white wolf, or I said at least in the description. But yeah, I bought on eBay, and that was on a bid. So in the end, I got like 403 pounds. But Gen 2s can be all over the range in price wise, depending on like how compact they are for carrying, what the condition is. Yeah, I've got an American M1, but not an actual American M1. I've got one of the European license copies of it, so it's essentially an M1 but just made slightly differently. Look up your local laws, J-Doors. Don't you like coffee, Altrix? It's not just England. When I went to Norway, we were meant to see the midnight sun, and guess what? It was foggy and cloudy all the time. We were meant to see the midnight sun as well. So, we did see it on a different day where we weren't meant to be seeing it, but, where we were just lucky. But the day we were meant to go and see the midnight sun at Nordkapp, no, it was foggy and, cloudy. Yeah, I like Red Dwarf. I've not watched any of the really new Red Dwarfs, though, but I like the old Red Dwarfs. I started playing Elder Scrolls Online recently, and it's a lot better than I thought it would be because it was on Steam sale. And I was like, oh, it's not actually shit, and there's loads of content in this. That surprised me because I'm used to Bethesda making shit stuff. Right, I have no idea about coffee rations, so I won't even comment, but I drink pretty much any instant coffee, so I wouldn't care. It probably is Jade Wars if it's a decent price. When I say decent, I mean expensive, because there's not really any Virtus clones as far as I'm aware, like airsoft ones or whatever. As long as there's a few photos of the outside and the inside liner, you can probably tell if it's real. But yeah, I've seen the Stalker 2 trailer, but it doesn't show any gameplay, does it? It's more like a teaser trailer. New Vegas is the best one. So if you think Fallout 3 is good, use that deuce. Just wait till you get New Vegas. I think just a lot of Europe is just cursed when it comes to lots of clouds and fog blocking you from seeing cool, space stuff. Yeah, well, I assume as it ticks away, does it very slowly at near the very bottom end of the meter? If it does, that's fine. Yeah, everybody is agreeing that Fallout New Vegas is good. If you don't like Fallout New Vegas, I think you've got something wrong with you, because it is by far the best Fallout game. Unless you're like one of those people that can really enjoy Fallout 1 and 2 with no issues, despite how retro they are. eBay, the mask question. What is my favourite mask? And lots of things similar get asked every stream to the point they annoy me. It doesn't annoy me if it's the first time somebody asks, but there's lots of people who just start asking lots of obvious questions in a row. Like, where'd you get your masks? eBay. Okay, but what's your favourite mask? What's your favourite helmet? Now and again, there's private sales, I get things and stuff like that, but nearly all the time it's eBay. Still weirding me out how the webcam light is reflecting on the C4 there, so it looks like it has a glowing ring on it. That's weird. Looks like some sort of console sort of glowing power ring, but it's just literally the webcam's light, I think. Yeah, because if my knee is here, it blocks the webcam's blue light from showing on it. If I move my knee, look, it lights up. I don't know, I find that quite amusing. Oh dear, Altrix, you're a pyromaniac. Tomorrow, I might film a video on this lighter, because I know I haven't done a lighter video in ages, and I've got this shit lighter working, so I'm tempted to do a video on it. But yeah, it's the one that looks really practical, except the switch design was designed by a moron. Yeah, I've not got COVID yet, Colby, but I'm back to work soon, which I'm really glad to be going back to work, don't get me wrong, because I'm getting, stressed almost not being able to do anything, not being able to volunteer, not being able to go to work. So I'm glad I'm going back to work soon, but it does make you think, doesn't it, how well is everyone going to take containment measures so it doesn't spread? No. I think it's a Canadian C4 console. Oh dear, the Red Ring of Death. I had a 360 that died from that. My first 360, though, started eating game discs. Thankfully, I got a refund and some refunded games because it chewed up some of my discs. Because you know how Microsoft did a really shit job mounting the DVD drive, where it was really close to like a bit of metal or something. So if the disc wobbled a bit, it would go like an angle grinder on the disc. That's annoying news I do. So one of my mates lost his job though where I work, and I've been able to keep mine. But it wouldn't surprise me if more people get laid off. It's just the way things are going at the moment. But one of my friends who got laid off is using this opportunity now to apply for a lot of, much better jobs. So if he gets one of those, he's in luck, really, because he get a much better wage and enjoy the job a lot more. But it is annoying at the moment, the amount of people losing work and everything, or being in financial difficulty. Like, I'm lucky that I can do YouTube, part of the time as a job that's essentially a hobby, because at least people like watching this stuff. But if I relied purely on having a 9-to-5 somewhere, I'd be pretty fucking screwed right now, because of the amount of people who've lost jobs. Mark 7 is good. It's one of the best Kevlar helmets. It's a bit bulky, so bear in mind the Mark 7 is bulky, but in terms of filler, it's good Kevlar filler in there. It's quite a comfortable helmet, quite a good liner in there. A lot of people just don't like how bulky it is as a helmet, but basically it sits on your head like that. Each of the straps goes around your ears like that, so they don't get in the way of the ears. You've got your chin strap there. It's a better chin strap than the Mark 6s have, because it, properly sits onto your chin like that. Then you've got a dual button system for doing it up there. If I can get that one in. There we go. So yeah, that's the Mark 7. And yeah, it's a pretty good helmet in terms of comfort and everything. Lots of gas masks fit with it as well. But basically, yes, it's a bulky looking helmet, but it is very protective. If you watch, is it Mike B? He's done a video shooting these, and even the 7.62 Tokarev pistol round, which, penetrates a lot of helmets, didn't get through this one. Of course, as soon as you shoot with rifle rounds, they piss straight through it. But unless you're, really lucky with the angle it hits you. But obviously, the Virtus helmet, the one down there, like the American ECH, that's the one that if you want to get a really good helmet, you should buy now that they're turning up on the civilian market. But this is a very, very good helmet for what it is. It's my favourite Kevlar helmet, even if it's a bit bulky, just because it's very comfortable. Masks fit with it, no problem. And it does give a very good level of protection. Yeah, this is a Kevlar filler in this one. Yeah, I suppose at the moment, Bombshell, it's good if people, at least have a job, isn't it? No, the helmet I'd wear without rule of law White Wolf would either be a riot helmet or the Pascat helmet, just because it's, a better filler, more protective than this one. Geez, Deuce, thank you very much. He said, I've been watching you from the start of lockdown. Only feels right that I chuck some money your way. Thank you very much for the streams. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The Mark 6, yes, J Doors. The Mark 6A, no, because there's two different helmets called the Mark 6. The Mark 6A was the stopgap fix. So the Mark 6A basically has the same filler of this one. It's just not as good liner or shape. But yeah, the Mark 6 and the Mark 6A are two different helmets, but they're the same outer shell, but they have different fillers. The regular Mark 6 is crap, though. It's all right if you wanted a hard hat or something like for a film prop or something, but the problem is they really cheaped out on the liner because they put like a thin bit of ballistic nylon in there, which is basically worse than just having a cheap steel pot. So what would happen is, if you watch ballistic testing, like everything just goes through the front and then through the back of the helmet, because it's essentially almost like having an empty shell, the Mark 6. No, this is the Mark 7, Ash. The Mark 7 is this one. The Mark 6 looks more like a bowl. I don't have a Mark 6 in this room to show it. But yeah, they had the Mark 6 and then the Mark 6A. They were replaced by the Mark 7, which is the helmet I'm wearing. Although you don't normally see these without the liners on them. That's why all the covers. And then the Virtus was the one that replaced the Mark 7. So the Virtus is like the American ECH, basically. I think it's made by the same company, Cobra or whatever. It's the polyurethylene or whatever it's called, filler in it, basically thermoplastic. The advantage to that is you can get a thinner helmet that's better in the way of protection. So just to show you that, if I show them side by side, you might be able to see how much thinner the Virtus is than the Mark 7. I don't know if you can notice that there, but this one is a lot thinner, despite the fact it is way ballistically better. But again, it's like a new generation of filler material in it. But both are good helmets, but this is the one that would actually stop a rifle round. The bad thing is the back face deformation and the ballistics impact of it will probably still break your neck, give you a brain hemorrhage. But this would actually stop a rifle round, because there's videos of people test them. They are bloody good helmets. It's just, the human body isn't strong enough to survive that sort of blunt force impact. I have no idea what that Colby guy was on about, but he's been hidden. Oh, Yugo M59 helmets are brilliant. If you get the M59, try and get the really good M5985 variant, because I think that was the last design of it, and it's the one that has the really good liner. I really like the strap system in this, because basically how the strap system works on this helmet, you get the helmet. You should probably do this bit before putting it on. Yeah, so let's do this before putting it on. There's two little bits here. You flick these like that, right? Then you can stretch the helmet's, chin strap like that. To tighten them, you just literally do that. And then you've got the helmet as tight as you want it. The liner inside is a bit of a pain in the arse to adjust, but once you've adjusted it, you can basically get it to fit any head size. So yeah, this is like one of the really good steel helmets. Lower price S10, you just have to look around, because at the moment everybody wants a mask. No, what they did, they went Mark 6, Mark 6A, then the Mark 7, and then they replaced the Mark 7 with the Virtus helmet. That's the order they went in. But no, I'd be medically unfit to serve JAR, so everything's self-taught or, from family members that did service, in various branches and all stuff like that. But I just read a lot of books, is the answer. Be very careful about reading, obviously, unverified Wikipedia articles on stuff, but books are generally a good source of knowledge. I mean, authors can have biases, but the encyclopedia-type books are pretty good if you want to look up equipment. It's just because I'm a Spurg Oliver and I can remember a lot of it because I find it interesting. Obviously, everything becomes a bit of a mess behind me. No matter how many times I buy a load of new storage boxes, fill them up as neatly as possible and put them away. Generally, people are like, can you get this out to show us in the stream? Get that out to show us. And then it starts getting messy behind me again. But yeah, I'll do a video on this because a lot of people don't seem to know this, but when it comes to helmets, as well as coverage of a helmet, steel or like material quality in the filler is really important, which I think a lot of people forget. Because, you know, the problem is lots of helmets can look good, but if they're made of the wrong kind of material, they're not very good. See if you can look inside it, J-Doors. If you can look inside it and find the Kevlar fillers or like ballistic plates, you know it's real. If it's some like cheapo airsoft thing, it's probably not going to have a filler. So like, take this helmet, for example. This is a Swiss M1918 helmet, but it's the aluminium version for civil defense. This would offer you no protection from like anything flying through the air at high speed. But obviously a steel helmet would. I don't know if they actually sound different, steel and aluminium. But yeah, I've got two M18 helmets, like the proper ones, and I've got the civil defense one, and it's kind of funny holding them up side by side, feeling like the weight difference and everything. Oh, you mean the Fardasheen helmet, or whatever it's called, Oliver. I know which exact helmet you mean, the one that was like Saddam's militia. But yeah. I've got it. I put Kevlar panels in it, White Wolf, but I never got the proper plates for it because they were stupidly expensive. My favourite combat vest, though, is still the ECH because it's actually light and comfortable. Like, if I put the ECH on now, I could wear it all stream and it wouldn't be an issue. Let me prove that I'm actually telling the truth of that. This one. This is still my favourite vest because it's actually lightweight and comfortable. And yes, I know you can get better vests than this, which offer more coverage, but the issue is the vests that cover more of your body weigh more and are less comfortable. If I had to sit, you know, around with a vest on all day or stand around with a vest on all day, I would definitely want something like this. That's it. Fedayeen Saddam, thank you. The one that doesn't have a blue ring, but the webcam light makes it look blue, that's a Canadian C4. Which one, sorry, White Wolf? Or an ECH GST. But yeah, I kind of like the lightweight ballistic vest type ones because, yeah, Kevlar filler all around it to protect you from shrapnel. Obviously, these don't cover your neck or anything, but they've got, you know, Kevlar all around the shoulder bits and whatever. But they've got the plate in the front and the back, so they have got like a level 4 plate in there. It's just quite small and that covers your heart and one of your lungs. Yeah, it's got Kevlar in it there. I don't know if you can see that. But that's not just the liner there. There's actually Kevlar inside it. But I'm not going to open it all out to take the Kevlar filler out. I don't know, because I don't follow Stormzy and I already had stab vests. Kevlar is made from Kevlar. I think aramid fiber is technically, but Kevlar is like the thing they actually call it. But it's basically lots and lots and lots of very thin woven layers of this sort of material, and the aramid material, or whatever they call it. And it's just because it's so tightly, like, you know, stitched together in a sense, you know, like a cross pattern, that it makes it very strong. The helmet I've got on at the moment, steel. No, this isn't a Kevlar helmet, this is an old steel helmet. It would still block shrapnel from coming through as long as it's not super high velocity. Steel helmets are pretty obvious because they're always shiny and they're always quite thin, because in general you don't make steel helmets very thick because they'd be too heavy. The answer to that is yes, Ash, but it's properly contained, and certain people bring that up because they want to try and get me in trouble. But yeah, that's the problem with all these things. I don't think you can get non-military looking helmets. Go on eBay, Jarvit, and buy an ex-police stab vest. There's plenty on there where the police retire them when they get slightly damaged, not to the point where they're compromised, or they're out of their, like, you know, date that they have to buy new ones every 5 years. Yes, Altrix, for these, you open those pouches, and the plates just sit in the pouches front and back. But the Kevlar is, you have to take all of it off and unzip the liner to take the Kevlar out. Most normal, like, soldiers' uniforms or whatever are not radiation proof, no. But yeah, if you're on about like stab vests, just buy something like this, like the ex-police ones that go under a jacket with the Kevlar filler in them. I've had similar things, Swaggerino. If the titanium is good quality, Radio Rider, and thick enough, then yes. But bear in mind, you always have to work out how good a quality the material is. Because if you buy really cheapo, sort of poorly manufactured variants of titanium or steel or whatever, they're not normally very strong. So it depends completely how thick the titanium is. But it would certainly stop knife blades and pistol rounds, I imagine. Cheers, thank you. I just started collecting stuff because I found it interesting, Antonio, and then it's falling down a rabbit hole because it's where you think you want more and more stuff, you know. Let's see if this Yugoslav helmet works all right with a Chinese gas mask, like the half-face one, the Strong 50 or whatever it's called. I'll get around to doing a video on that as well at some point. Let's have a look. I might readjust the head harness, actually, because that's the one thing that I need to get a bit more comfortable. What do you mean by a commando helmet? But I've certainly got Flecton camo and scrimnet stuff. Let's just adjust this one to maybe be one bar tighter. It's hard to say if it's more comfortable tighter or looser, this head ring. What I don't want is it to dig into my ears like that. So it's probably getting those bits furthest away from my ears that would make it most comfortable. But not sure exactly how to do that off the top of my head. Let's try tightening fully that rear strap. And have the front strap loose. That help? No, that's worse. Let's try fully tightening both of the straps. Because basically, this mask is really good. I just don't like the cheapo headband it has. That's a bit better because it keeps those bits further away from my ears digging in. Oh, by the commando helmet, you mean the one that's called the commando helmet, don't you? Which is the Pascut copy. Yeah, I've still got that somewhere, but it's pretty obsolete with the helmets I've got now. There we go. See if I can get the glasses on with all this. That might be difficult. There we go. So yeah, this actually is fairly comfortable, all this stuff together. Obviously, it's nice to have a mask, the one Hype sent me, that's got a voice diaphragm on it. Well, it's not me in charge of it, Unholy Desires, but the new GSRs are fine. It was just the older gen ones weren't. Yeah, I'm here to secure the loo roll. I reckon I need to get these straps a bit tighter, actually. Yeah, and then breaking the point of why you've got it on, Radio Rider. Buy it from one of the legal suppliers online. I'm not going to tell you any more than that, Radioactive Cow. If you're genuinely not asking these questions to sound dodgy as fuck, you literally buy it from a site that provides you with all the certificates for it, that, the proper site's allowed to sell it. Only issue is now, Waiting for questions now, but unless the chat's broken. eBay. The answer's not going to be eBay just because people ask it over and over. If I say eBay, I'm not lying to you, it's eBay. The one I was wearing the other day, Nightwolf, looked even more like Fallout New Vegas because I had the Swiss M71 helmet on that looks a lot like the helmet the NCR Rangers have on. Alright, is that Discord, Eltrix? Because I have to load up Discord because I can't see Discord when I'm on here. No, I've not got a ping. Oh, unless you're talking to somebody else. Radiation King, yes, that's very good at the moment, considering how much they are at the moment. Let's see if I can see a ping from Eltrix, unless he was talking to somebody else. All right. Oh, he said, I'm at the point of the rabbit hole of blowing my budget on gas masks and body armor. I don't blame you. It's tempting, isn't it? What, the little tiny one, Ron, that just provides you infinite time underwater? Yeah, that would be amazing, but sadly, that sort of shit doesn't really exist, made from old pressure cooker valve or whatever it is. Sadly not, Rance. They've sold out nearly everywhere. This is the problem at the moment. It's hard to recommend masks because everyone wants to buy masks at the moment. Yeah, let's take all this off now. So first we undo the helmet. Oops, something. Oh no, it's taken my filter off of it. Ah, I'm compromised. Gas. Yeah. Be careful of your helmets knocking off your filter. It's not damaged the port. No, that's weird. It's just somehow managed to pull the filter itself off without damaging the port. It's very odd. Although these filters, I hate the 3M style bayonet thing. I wish the Chinese would rip off a better design than this when they make these masks, because the 3M bayonet system is just shit. There we go. That's that one on, but it's not a good system. Just having like 3 little prongs that you have to push it on and then twist it and hope it catches, because they're such tiny little prongs. You know, they could snap the mask pretty easily if it got caught. But yeah, see, there you go. ECHs you can wear, no issue, even if the weather's warm, because they're just nice and comfy vests. Yeah, that's how you do it, Javit, because it's super chat and thank you anyway, but it's super chat and like the super emoji thing, isn't it? Yeah, I know that, Bombshelly, but you still think they could come up with a better design for mass production? No, the only shovel I've got that's a proper shovel other than just gardening ones is the Cold Steel Spetsnaz shovel, and that's pretty good. But sadly, it's just one of those shovels that only 2 spray dried coffee. Do you want me to type it? So 2 spray dried coffee. There you go. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, what was I on about? Yeah, sadly, the Cold Steel shovel's main use in our house is whenever we have a pet die, it's to dig out a hole in the garden because it's a really good sharp shovel to bury an animal. So it's a bit morbid that is literally like a burial shovel. I mean, I've chopped pumpkins up and stuff with it before, but the main use that shovel has is always, we need to dig a grave. Okay. Ah, I thought you meant type it, but you're saying type 2 spray dried coffee. That's a coffee like is it, Eltrix? Well, their accuracy is about as good as a Stormtrooper, isn't it, Oliver? There's some crosses and gravestones in the garden for animals, but you know. Yeah, is there anything other than the cold steel one that's that kind of design bots? Because the cold steel one is genuinely really good, but you know, I know there's some old military shovels as well that have like the folding locking handles, but something like that would be good. What is it? The bottle of it, White Wolf. Just keep the bottle in a bag or two. But yeah, the point of it is it does really smell, so you know when a mask's working or not. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because a shovel is literally like a big blade for hacking into the ground with, and earth is generally a bit harder to hack into than a person, you know, because we're a bit fleshy and soft. A bit like how Britain's best combat knife was the Fairbairn Sykes, and that is literally, you know, a pure classical dagger. There is nothing. If I've got the Sykes handy, there it is. You know, this was Britain's best combat dagger, and there's literally a reason for that. It's a spike, you know, that would have no issue whatsoever going into people. It's literally like a needle. If you've ever had to use a syringe, you'll know how easily they go in like an inch when you're not expecting them to. You know, like, I'll just put some pressure on it. Oh, it's gone all the way in. So it's a bit like that, you know, where the point of it, you know, pardon upon the point, is if you drop it literally on a bit of wood, you know, it sticks into it like that and sticks out. Where if you get a lot of knives, they just kind of stick in and then fall over. But the Fairbairn Sykes will actually kind of stick in like a dart. Yeah, there's something magical about the FS, and I think it is just because it was a blade designed for killing people. You know, it wasn't a blade designed to be a utilitarian combat and, you know, like utility knife. It's like, no, here is a knife designed for killing people as practically as possible. So there's something, you know, beautiful about this. It's a horrible kind of thing when you think it's literally a knife designed to do that to people, but that was the point. He went into their throat with it, punched it out like that, literally ripped a chunk of their neck out. The sentry is dead before they can even scream. But yeah, FS is a really nice knife. The thing is, when I get bayonets and daggers, I always like the ones that have that kind of blade profile. You know, the really big sort of dagger design, rather than it being like, oh, here's some serrated bits and whatever else. It's like the whole point of these things is for, you know. Yeah, well, that's the thing, bots. They were for a different purpose, weren't they? The point of those little FS knives is the paratroopers or what ever had them on their, like, you know, gear being as small as possible. And if there was a sentry, you went up behind them, put your hand around like that, straight into the throat. You know, that you're gonna have no issue, you know, puncturing the windpipe and stopping them screaming. But you know, that was the purpose of it. Because again, you know, I think the more honest thing is where people compare it to stuff like the K-bar. Obviously, the K-bar is a much better utility knife, but that was because it was a utility and a combat knife. If you just wanted a combat knife, the FS is better, no question about it, because of how much easier it just goes into things. Yep, somebody was talking about M90 camo weirdly, Ron, earlier in the stream. I've not got any M90 camo, sadly, but I do know what it is. Sorry, Guardian, what you on about? I've missed what you're talking about. I'm saying, he said, notice a few inaccuracies, but what was he on about? I mean, that is a Repro FS knife, and it has got some differences between it and the real one, but they're actually one of the quite good Repros that, you know, isn't a really shoddy, shitty blade. The guard's a bit different than the real one on that, but it's constructed in the exact same way. It's just some of the bits are slightly different shaped. But, you know, as far as replicas go, it is not as bad as the ones where every single bit is the wrong quality steel or like the wrong shape bit. I know you can get like proper 1-1 replicas of the old FS knives, but when you start going to that price, you might as well see if you can get an antique FS. But I just like it just as, you know, showing historically this is what these knives did, you know. Oh, Chernobyl meters, I thought you were on about the FS knife, but yeah. The Chernobyl series is very good, but yeah, there are bits that are inaccurate. But the thing I like with that is if you listen to the commentaries they did, the director and the writer and all that literally talked about, you know, where it wasn't accurate because they wanted to make it work better as a TV show. I have JADAMs or JDAMs, but I've not done it with loads of masks. So I've just demonstrated on things like an S10. It's not that hard, but you know, it's not something you really meant to do. Although I don't mind, again, explaining to people the 3.6 Rontgen thing if they're actually interested in it. It's some sort of steel, so it would be an alloy rance. It's definitely not stainless steel. It's a pretty similar one to what the originals are made out of, but I don't think it's the exact same steel. But they use the same steel, that company, for a lot of their, like, you know, military hard-wearing knives. Do you mean the war game that was banned in the 1950s, Radioactive Cow, by that stupid bitch Mary Whitehouse? If you're on about the yes, I know about the war game. We had a 3.6 Rontgen thing. 3.6 Rontgen was a real number, but, you know, you get all the kids going, it's 3.6 Rontgen. The reason that the meters did actually max out, they had at the plant at 3.6 Rontgen. It's a mathematics thing. How many seconds are there in an hour? 3,600 seconds in an hour. Right, how many millirontgens are there in a Rontgen? 1,000 millirontgens in a Rontgen. So 3,600 seconds at what the meters did max, 1 millirontgen per second equals 3.6 Rontgen per hour. But again, you know, the Soviets did have much higher level meters than that. It was just the very accurate low level ones only went to 3.6 Rontgen because they maxed out at 1 millirontgen per second. Yeah, before she was banning the video nasties, Oliver, she was banning realistic war docudramas because it might make people lose faith in their government and mutually assured destruction. No, I was sort of interested in it when I was younger, military and surplus YouTube, but at the same time, the same day the cadets was on, for like air cadets or whatever, Tuesdays, it was the same day we did the panto rehearsals, and because I was part of a panto group, I always did that. All right, Mike, did you hear Mary Whitehouse? Was that what summoned you? The bitch where Mary Whitehouse has summoned Mike with his list of video nasties. She probably did do saying that. I bet, yeah, Mary Whitehouse was the one who thought that the ninjas would be out after all of us. You know, so it was probably shurikens and that the reason you can't get them. I'm glad you like the videos, Blee, or Blah. Well, if you were next to it at night, the mask wouldn't matter because you'd be obliterated into, you know, the bomb would evaporate you in seconds, wouldn't it? If you're under a 50 megaton bomb. In reality, if you were miles and miles and miles away from it, any mask with a particle filter would be good enough for you to run into a fallout shelter to stop you inhaling particles. But, you know, the reality of it is if you're anywhere near SAR bomb when it was dropped, you're dead because it's, you know, 50 megatons of pure nuclear fire. And if it was the full-size variant of SAR they designed, 100 megatons. I'm glad you enjoyed the videos, Blair. They're not that bad, military and surplus. It's just they sometimes make a weird fuss about certain knife types, and I have no idea why. Probably because the newspapers talk about them. Anything with a good particle filter, Andrew. Obviously, the better the filter and the better the mask, the better. But as long as it's a particle filter mask, doesn't matter if it's a dust mask, half-face respirators, you know, like the one I was showing earlier, full-face masks. You have to wear a mask now in the UK if you're out and about, really, anyway. But the masks you have to wear, because they're designed to protect other people, can be as simple as like a couple of layers of cloth, you know, that's just around your ears or whatever. Like one of these. So like UK legal masks, all you need is something like this. Because the idea is you protect other people. So if I get that on. Doesn't want to go around my ear quite there for some reason at the moment. Why is it doing that? But yeah, the UK legal masks are literally just like this. Just something that covers your nose. You know, and everything like that. But I don't know why now this one doesn't want to make a very good seal. It normally works fine. But strange. Don't know if the elastic's pulled a bit, but yeah, the point of these masks, the people who don't get it, is they stop you breathing out on other people as easily. You know, so personally, if I was buying a mask, I'd buy a mask with actual protective qualities. But, you know, the masks you have to wear at least are things like this. It might be because how I've got my glasses on. But if that has pulled, I'm going to have to tighten the elastic on this. But as I said, I don't wear this very often. My aunt made it, and it's a good mask, but it's not quite tight enough on me. Because, yeah, you'd want it like that, wouldn't you? But, oh well. Don't know if I can... Will that work? Maybe. Is it any tight around the other way? Probably not. But that was the same way, wasn't it? Yeah, I think the elastics drooped a bit on this, but yeah. As we were saying, the point is there are masks you have to wear in public, and there are masks, of better quality you can wear instead. Don't talk pseudoscience on here, Guardian, because people will not like it if you start saying stuff that has no scientific backing. A bit like the people saying I read on some website that COVID did this, not on, proper science journals. It's basically airborne transmission, but obviously it can live on surfaces as well. But the main point is you breathe it in and out. It's like the flu, in that regard. Except it's more dangerous than most strains of flu if you catch it, in terms of long-term effects as well. There's lots of people weeks on who are still having lots of issues of fatigue and everything. But the main point is it's droplet and airborne sort of based from breathing in and out, talking and breathing, where you spray the sort of droplets in the air. Best thing I said, it's effective for stopping you spreading it to other people to a degree. In terms of protection for you, not all that much. You want proper dust-style masks, as in half-face respirators. So, ones with filters on like this, or the dust ones that, like the 3M sort of builder's masks, those type of things. Yeah, I think that's more of a mental thing, Oliver, isn't it, than a physical thing? Because unless she's got like a few % lung capacity, a mask with a very simple filter on isn't going to cause much breathing resistance. Yeah, because that's the thing, that there's more and more evidence, isn't there, GZ Deuce, that at the moment that there's people who basically catch it, and then weeks after they've officially recovered, even if they're not getting corona technically again, they're having lots of fatigue, lots of like lung scarring or, breathing issues, stuff that just doesn't seem to go away. For the people saying, I didn't see that comment, Mike. I could, in theory, up there. I suppose it would be possible, yeah. If I could get one that was going to mount properly on there, no risk of falling off, I could put either the bill hook or the glaive on there on my other spear, and then hang the mask from the spear. That would work, but, at the moment, I've not climbed all the way up there to evaluate how strong the wall hooks are, because I said the issue of that wall is most of it, some of it's brick, but most of it's that like thin plaster stuff, where if you get a hammer, you could essentially hit through the wall. So it's, not brilliant to try and hang heavy stuff on that wall. Well, if you've got 3M masks with P100 filters built into them, that's absolutely fine. That's very good. What is the 70M? Is this a mask I already have military in surplus? Is that the Bulgarian 70M? If so, I've got that one. Do you want about another one? I think your parents are committing abuse to children, Oscar. I'm not actually joking about that with that. If we know at this point it's an airborne thing, if your parents are literally saying, oh, my kid can't wear a mask, I think they are being abusive, in all honesty. It's a bit like your parents saying, no, you can't have a vaccine. It's a bit fucked up if you have parents like that. Oh, I've got the Hungarian PMG, so don't worry, I've got it, but thank you anyway. What do you mean masks with vents? What do you mean by a mask with a vent? Do you mean valves? I mean, if it's got an inhale and an exhale valve, it's got a filter on it, it's a proper mask. I'd say to him, Doska, that these are scientifically proven to protect you, so do you not want me to protect myself and other people? I would get really shitty at people. I'm literally being honest now, that refuse to wear masks, because there's people I know now that even aren't very we're not caring about masks at all for ages, but because they know now it's good for other people, they still do it anyway, you know. So, no, the thing is, yeah, if Bomb Shelly, if you're out in a really open space like a forest or, you know, a natural park type thing, you don't need a mask on. You know, you could always have one around your neck, and then if you saw somebody coming down the path, you could put it on while you pass each other. That's good, White Wolf. But yeah, the problem is a lot of people don't, do they? They go, why have you got a mask? That's stupid. The Illuminati are using masks to control you with the 5G. Who are you talking about, Blair? I hope you're not talking about me. There's different variants of the Y2K, Adam. Some are P1, some are P2, some are P3. P3 is the best possible one, but yeah, if you get the good ones that are actually decent particle protection built into them, then yes, because it is basically a proper half face mask. I'll be off in a few minutes, but thank you, everybody. It's been a good stream. Yes, because the Scott FRR is newer rants and all right, or you could buy a modern GSR, which is, you know, the ones not made by Scott anymore, and they're fine. The reason the GSRs had problems is they were made at the point Scott was collapsing, so they were made like no quality control and as cheaply as possible. I've never seen them for sale separately, Ron, but I know sometimes if you buy like GP7 or PMK kits, you get those filter socks in there. But yeah, filter sock would add a bit more particle protection to a filter. You could also, I suppose, if you really wanted to, just get a regular sock and put over a filter. It would work the same way. Obviously, probably one that's been freshly washed, you know, not one you've just taken off your foot. I know the filter would stop the smell anyway, but still, you know, for hygiene reasons. But yeah. Yeah, sorry, Chris. It's because I came on at 6 today rather than doing a 7 or 8 o'clock stream. No, there are no bulletproof gas masks. There was somebody who started arguing with me in the video comments until I blocked him ages ago that was saying there is. And then when I said, could he give me the name of what is? No, but they're real. You just need to look them up. All right, what they called? No, you need to look it up. I'm not telling you. That kind of thing. So I was like, all right, fuck off then. It was obviously like a little kid that wanted to be special. But I don't know what Blair's on about, but if you're on about ionizing radiation, ionizing radiation is like light. It doesn't matter if you've got a filter or not. It penetrates literally materials like steel and concrete gamma rays. So a filter on your face isn't going to protect you from gamma rays, is it? Yeah, Sunday best, not really, but yeah. I wonder if you could get like an ECBA cover that was like a suit sort of material. Just obviously it's got the ballistic pouches in it. You have like a fake little tie, couldn't you, on the front as well? Yeah, but iodine pills only protect you from iodine 131, which is a particular isotope. Quite a lot military and surplus. No way of really knowing, you know, and it depends what you get for it. Not because if I listed it at all the prices I might want for certain things, it doesn't mean that people would buy them. So yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I don't really think about it too much. I generally know what I've paid for stuff for like tax reasons, you know, and all that sort of stuff, but don't know what you mean by a gas battery. I know about radioactive batteries and like lithium-ion batteries, but I've never heard of gas batteries. Yeah, Mike's got one, White Wolf. It's pretty cool, isn't it? But yeah, sadly they didn't offer me one for free to do reviews of it, so I didn't bother paying a lot of money for one. But Yeah, I think the really smart-looking stab proofs are good, Mike. Especially if you were somebody that wanted them on like every day for a job, then that might be where you think it's worth investing in that. You know, because the police obviously aren't ever going to buy vests like that. But I think if I had to buy some custom armor, I'd probably pay even more and get one of like the really good custom fitting sort of jacket or coat type ones, just because I think if you're paying all that money, you might as well go for something that looks pretty, swag, if it's going to be something you've got on all day for like a job or something. Oh, is that a joke, Oliver? But that is a good joke. If so, it's corny, but a good joke. I claimed back tax for washing my uniform, and it really paid off. But I know you can claim stuff like that, and it is good. But yeah, it sounds like a joke how you phrase that. Yeah, the people I know, Chris, are still taking it very seriously. As in, limiting how many people they see, wearing masks in public, all that sort of stuff. Like a lot of people I know are meeting up with bigger groups of people now, but because lots of places have gone back to work, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as you all, act as sensibly as possible. But yeah, everybody I know really, especially like friends of the family, are taking it more seriously. Like even my dad recently started wearing a mask out before it became compulsory. Like my mum's been doing it for ages, but although my dad did go from having a proper filtered mask recently down to a mask like this, because he's like, oh, the filtered mask is uncomfortable to wear for a while, I'm just going to a cheapo mask. Like, right, your funeral. Yeah, the issue is bots. I still don't go out enough because, I still order most stuff online. Like, I wear a mask when I go out in public, and it's good that you can do it now without people thinking you're weird. But, the shame is soon, we'll be back to normal. Or maybe, who knows. But the weird thing is Britain has been so slow to tell people to wear masks that it's only been recently that they've been like mandatory or recommended. So a lot of the time people would still look at you funny if you had a mask on, because despite Corona being around, well, you're wearing a mask, they don't do anything. If somebody is asking me, am I an anti-vaxxer or nothing like that? No, I think vaccines are a very good thing for humanity, and I generally have a lot of issue with people that are anti-vaxxers. Anyway, I'll be off now. This has actually been quite a good stream. There's only been one or two weird people on it, this one, which is odd, but yeah, exactly, bots. You get idiots like that. Oh, it's uncomfortable for me to wear a little dust mask on my face for an hour. Wow, no, it's not. But yeah, hope everybody's enjoyed the stream. Thank you to the people that donated. And for the people who haven't heard, the good news is I'm hopefully back to work soon, which will probably mean less live streams, but I should still be doing videos Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. But yeah, work phoned me up the other day, and they do want me back in quite soon. So I'm quite looking forward to that, because, being off work for months because of furlough and all that, and then furlough ending, I am really looking forward to actually being allowed back to work, not being made redundant, and, being able to spend some time in the week actually having a bit of a schedule. So hopefully that all works out, because you never know, I might be back to work for a week and then a second wave happens and I'm furloughed again or made redundant, who knows. But the good news is it does seem I'll be back to work soon, which I am looking forward to. So yeah, thanks everybody, see you all, have a good evening.